So I started off the week with some speed endurance reps, running some 120s, or they were supposed to be 120s. I did end up accidentally running a little bit further than that. I probably was about 130 to maybe 135. And I think I came through in around about the 16-second range, give or take. Now, in flats, not really pushing max effort. I did want to go in the 90% range. I do believe that I was probably pushing a bit more than 90%, maybe like 95% or so, considering the fact that I'm running in flats. I think the 150 estimate would be like a 17.7, 17.6 without reaction time. So yeah, first session doing these with some intensity, because obviously the week before I had that hamstring tightness, so I was being a little bit cautious with things, but it didn't seem to come to anything after doing the max velocity, after doing the long jumps. So I was sort of in the clear, at least in my mind, to start to just push intensity back up again, because as I say, the hamstring tightness didn't seem to come to anything, or so I thought. At least I did end up getting a slight injury later in the week. That kind of gives you a clue as to what injury it was. But yeah, then moving on to the lifts, hang power snatching 72 kilos, which is up there with like the heaviest. I think the heaviest I've done is like 159 pounds, so this is like 0.3 pounds off of that. But yeah, very good in terms of power. I do think I could have went up even on that. I think I could have probably done like 75 for a double, maybe even like 76, 77 could have been doable, but obviously not pushing weight room numbers, just sticking to the plan, sticking to what is written down. And then yeah, half squats as well, they were very strong. Usually I'm pretty weak with half squats. I know in the past I've struggled to even match my like full depth squat PR on a half squat for even a single rep. So I know that if I'm moving 142 for a triple as easily as I did, I mean the last rep was a little bit grindy. I do think there was maybe one rep left in reserve on that set, but still very good signs that strength is there, that I'm getting strong in these positions that typically I find are my weak points. And then yeah, doing deep squats as well, contrasting the session a little bit with 135, those felt quite good. I feel like not as good as when I was testing, as my test day, but obviously I'd built up fatigue from week one of this training cycle, and I'm sort of experiencing those effects now. So that's something to, I guess, keep in mind when looking at performances, especially like mid-cycle performances. You can't expect too much, whether it's like sprints, whether it's lifts, Olympic lifts, whatever. Just have to curb your expectations a little bit mid-cycle. I mean, sometimes you can get surprised by these things. Sometimes you'll super compensate mid-cycle and you'll be at sort of a new level of fitness, of strength, or whatever. So yeah, generally very good session, happy with how things went. Moving on to the Wednesday session, or what was supposed to be the Wednesday session, but I was running obviously in a slightly different split. It was so my Monday session, then I had a general day off, then it was my planned Wednesday session, which really would have been on like a Thursday. So yeah, that session was some flies, so I ran those it ended up being on the Saturday, and those went quite well. They were quite intense. The intensity jump up was quite big. I do think I was carrying some fatigue from my 30 meter flies the week before, from my sessions the week before sessions earlier in the week, and I could feel that in the sprints that I just didn't have that extra gear. Still ran, I think it was allegedly 3.09, I think, according to the free lap. Maybe it was 3:11. I think the last rep was 3:11, but 2 high quality reps. That was the plan, was to push at least 2 reps that were faster. So I did most of my warm-ups in flats. Then for the final 3 sprints, moved into spikes and ran spiked up, obviously. So yeah, they were feeling pretty good. Apart from obviously being a little bit flat, I was happy with how they were technically executed. Maybe the best looking technical sprints of my career potentially, especially considering like I'm not on super spikes yet. There's a lot of stuff to still be improved upon. Very happy with where things are this early on into off-season training, certainly. So yeah, that was a good session. Then I went down, did my weight room session. I had a little bit of a break between them. It was maybe like a 2-hour break, 2.5 hours at most. And yeah, after that I was lifting hang power cleans. Felt quite good actually. The trap bar deadlifts, I did kind of fail on those. I didn't fail because I wasn't strong enough, it was more because of technical breakdown. I do think I could have hit both the 105 and the 205 and the 209 trap bar deadlift double. I just got a single rep on each of those, and then it just felt like the technique was breaking down. You can really see it on like the 209 that I think I was getting off the ground, and I do believe if I just let the form break up, I could have pushed through, but you have to just make decisions in training sometimes if is the juice worth the squeeze when it comes to something like that. Like what do I gain other than the ego of doing a double with that weight? At the end of the day, it could cause like an issue, and it's better to err on the side of caution, especially when that's not my main sport, and it's not anyone's main sport to do trap bar deadlifts really. Other than maybe the Apex, they have trap bar deadlifts, but even that, I'm gonna say, is like, you shouldn't risk it all for a silly lift like that, or any lift in my opinion at least. So yeah, that was the session. It was alright, obviously failing those 2 lifts, although as I say, it wasn't a true failure, it was more of a technical breakdown failure. So that was like the worst training that I've maybe done in a while, weight room wise, I guess. Most of my training seems to be pretty much clockwork, like I'm not failing snatches generally in training outside of like 1 rep maxes. Working weights, if I'm doing a percentage, I'm typically able to hit it, as you saw with the snatch doubles at 72 kilos. That was like clockwork. I didn't miss any of the sets. I've been very good with that. So that was good. Then moving on to my final session of the week, which will be the most fatiguing session. I'll build up the most fatigue over the course of the 9-day cycle that I'm currently running, and yeah, I just was in a place where obviously I was quite fatigued. Like coming into the session, I did feel a little bit flat, but sometimes it's a case of I'll feel that way, I'll do training and I'll be fine. Like typically I find if I feel flat, I can still push through and be fine. But obviously in this scenario, that just wasn't really the case. So I did my 30s, 5 times 30 meters, and was running quite well. I think it was 4:17 without a reaction time, 4:16.7 or something like that, or 4:16.3, something like that, but round up to 4:17, no reaction time, which is very quick for the time of year, very quick for the fact that this is only my second session doing 3-point starts, so still a lot to improve upon. Just based off where I am in my training block. And yeah, feeling relatively well, 4.04 on the free lap. Then I get around to the long jumps. I'm like building up to it, doing a few run throughs and flats. I then go and do my first sort of pop-up jump, or I go to attempt my first pop-up jump, and I'm like decelerating into it, plant, and then I just feel my hamstring just go a little bit on the takeoff. So not ideal. Not the first time I've pulled my hamstring from doing long jump-esque jumps, but it is just a little bit annoying because I shouldn't be getting injured, but it's a new journey, a new experience, I guess. This is a wake-up call to really dial in elements of training. I think the one thing that's hard with this injury is it's hard to know why it happened. I think with some injuries there's a clear cause. Like when I pulled my hamstring last year, for example, it was very clear to me that I was just very under recovered. I'd came back from Thanksgiving break, I pretty much pulled an all-nighter on the plane, still did training the next day, and well, the day that I'd done the all-nighter I still did my training. I come to the Monday session and then obviously feel some hamstring tightness, and then I'm delusional in my thoughts of that I was healthy enough. I go and run and pull my hamstring, it's expected, right? That's okay. I can quantify that hamstring injury to the fact that it is because I'm just not recovered enough. So that's one thing. Or like the hamstring injury that I had in 2023 when I was at the Scottish Student Championships, right? I came into it with a lot of sessions that I didn't realise were stacked up the way that they were. I'd had this hamstring tightness the week before. A lot of it made sense, whereas this one's like, okay, there was the hamstring tightness like weeks and weeks, like 15 days prior, but typically I've found that hamstring tightness after about 10 days to 2 weeks, you're typically good to start just fully going back into training. You don't have to be as cautious. But in this case, I guess long jump is just going to punish those small little tightnesses a bit more. So it's something to maybe just be a bit more conscious about, I guess, especially if I want to really push my limits when it comes to long jump. So just going to have to wait and see how things go. It's, as I say, a wake-up call. So yeah, I just have to wait and see. I've been doing rehab the past few weeks, feeling good, building confidence back each session. It's not an ideal time, at least there's still plenty of time to get prepped for the season, but you know, you hate to see it, you always want to be healthy at any point, but yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, I'm going to finish the video up here. I've kind of yapped for a bit too long, so I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next video where I will be doing a lot of rehab. I'll take you through the process that I did to get back, or at least get back to a decent enough level quite quickly.